Welcome to our whirling tour of the fascinating world of mental health, brain science, and the quirky ways our minds and bodies dance together. Think of this as a fun, lighthearted journey through some of the coolest concepts and discoveries in psychology and neuroscience. When we think about health and illness, especially mental health, it's not always black and white. Sometimes it's more like a colorful spectrum of dimensions and categories, symptoms popping up in different combinations, making each person's experience unique. Discrete disorders, for example, which are like individual characters in the story, versus comorbidity, where multiple disorders hang out together. Now, where do these disorders come from? Well, the etiology, or the story behind their origins, is complex. It involves a mix of biological, psychological, and social factors, what some call the biopsychosocial model. Historically, our understanding has evolved from simple ideas to rich monographs and anthologies capturing the depth and diversity of mental health. Scientists have developed all sorts of theories to explain how our brain functions and sometimes malfunctions. There's a cognitive psychology focus on how we think and perceive, psychoanalysis exploring the depths of the unconscious, and neuropsychology, which looks at how specific brain areas work. For example, systems chaos theory reveals how even tiny changes in the brain can lead to big, unpredictable shifts. Speaking of brain areas, imagine neurons as tiny messengers. Some are dopaminergic neurons in the ventral tegmental area, lighting up when we feel pleasure or aversion, like a brain's reward system. The hippocampus is like a memory library, organizing our experiences, while the lateral habenula can be a bit of a mood regulator, signaling disappointment or negative feedback. When we're stressed, our hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis kicks into gear, releasing hormones like cortisol and aldosterone. Think of cortisol as your body's alarm bell, helpful in short bursts, but problematic if it rings too often. This stress responsiveness can influence everything from neuron health to immune responses. Our brains and bodies have their own little armies like cytokines such as interleukins, terminal necrosis factor, and interferons that respond to threats, whether it's a bacterial endotoxin like lipopolysaccharide or psychological stress. Sometimes this immune activation can lead to neuroinflammation, impacting neuroprogression and even neurodegeneration. On the positive side, there are approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps rewire our thought patterns, and salutogenesis, a fancy word for focusing on what keeps us healthy rather than what makes us sick. The power-threat meaning framework offers a way to understand how threats and societal power dynamics shape our mental health narratives. So next time you hear about stress neurons or therapies, remember your brain is a dynamic, adaptable universe full of surprises and always ready for a new chapter.